those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess I would ask back, why wouldn't we? 5 years of political warfare has deeply divided Washington and the country. We have been as clear as we know how in expressing our deep concerns about President Trump's actions and words in the coarsening of public debate. But for nearly 80 million Americans, election denialism, public trials, and January 6th were not as important as the issues that moved them to send Donald Trump back to the White House with their vote. Joe and I realize it's time to do something different. And that starts with not only talking about Donald Trump, but also talking with him.
Wow. That's a real turn of events. Donald Trump's a fascist. Donald Trump is going to ruin democracy. Why in the world would you make nicey-nicey with the Mussolini, Mao, and Hitler all rolled into one? Why in the world would you do that? Let me tell you, they're not singing this tune because they've seen the light. They're singing this tune because they are feeling the heat. And I'm going to show you what the heat is.
On Friday, we were given the opportunity to do just that. Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
Now, we talked about a lot of issues, including abortion, mass deportation, threats of political retribution against political opponents, and media outlets. We talked about that a good bit.
Whoa. You talked about it? Because this is the same guy who said Donald Trump wants to put Liz Cheney in front of a firing squad. That guy said that he wanted to put Liz Cheney in front of a firing squad. He said it. He said that he was going to use the military against his political opponents. Did you talk to Trump about that, Joe? Did you really? Because I'm struggling to understand why you were making nicey with Mao and Mussolini. This doesn't make any sense to me, Joe.
And it's going to come as no surprise to anybody who watches this show, has watched it over the past year or over the past decade, that we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues. And
they didn't see eye to eye. He didn't see eye to eye with the president-elect of the GOP. He pegs himself as the white conservative on the show. He's the white conservative on the show. So for Kamala Harris's vote, you threw out lower taxation. You threw out smaller government. You threw out all of the core tenets of being a conservative, all in the attempt to vote for a Marxist who was going to destroy this country. You don't believe in mass deportation? You don't believe in having a strong border or those actually paying for what they do? And you call yourself a conservative, Joe? You're a shill. You're a grifter. Now I'm going to show you why they actually went and kissed Donald Trump's ring.
we told him so.
What we did agree on was to restart communications. My father often spoke with world leaders with whom he and the United States profoundly disagreed. That's a task shared by reporters and commentators alike. We had not spoken to President Trump since March of 2020, other than a personal call Joe made to Trump on the morning after the attempt on his life in Butler, Pennsylvania. In this meeting, President Trump was cheerful. He was upbeat. He seemed interested.
Cheerful? Upbeat? A fascist? I don't understand. I don't get it, Joe. This guy is Mussolini. Now, you got to know, that's not what's happening. This comes out of the Washington Free Beacon. Comcast. That's the big cable company that runs these news outlets. Recent comments that it's considering spinning off its portfolio of cable channels suggests that the company's owners, the billionaire Roberts family, would like to rid themselves of MSNBC and the accompanying bad publicity. Oh, I wonder where that came from. Where's the bad publicity coming from? It doesn't sound like Joe. Oh, that's right. He said Donald Trump was going to put Liz Cheney in front of a firing squad. It is, after all, quote, a declining asset, close quote. That much is true. So, hold on a second. After averaging 1.1 million viewers in the month of October, MSNBC's ratings declined more than 30% last week in the days following Trump's election. During primetime hours, 8 to 11, when advertising rates are the highest, the network's ratings plummeted more than 50%. What? You mean to tell me the only reason that they're going to talk to Donald Trump is because, well, their ratings are slumped? Yes, that's the only reason. I guarantee you, the people who actually own things at MSNBC demanded that they do that. NBC Universal put out a press release boasting that for the first time in history, MSNBC had more viewers on election night than CNN, even though many attribute those numbers to gleeful conservatives tuning in to gawk at the left-wing pundits experiencing public meltdowns. Not to mention the fact that CNN was also experiencing a historic rating collapse in the Biden era. Let me tell you what happened. Those who make decisions at MSNBC demanded that Joe and his wife go tag team kissing Trump's arse. He demanded, Brzezinski, you're going to take the left cheek, and Joe, you're going to take the right cheek, since you're supposed to be the conservative, and the two of you are going to be kissing his arse simultaneously, and all the while saying, "Make America great again." They haven't changed. The axe is about to fall, and they know it. This is so disingenuous. I cannot believe it. See, this is what happened. Here, take a look at this. Now, for those of you who can't see it, hold on a second. Let me show you this. You see that? From 2020 to 2024. You see all those red districts that Donald Trump flipped in dippy, hippie California? I believe it's like up to 9 now. 9. He flipped 9 in Dippy, hippie, California. Democrats have, I told you guys this when Kamala Harris first started running, that her defeat had to be not just a defeat. It had to be humiliating. I didn't know it was going to be worse than Hillary, but it had to be humiliating. It had to be Donald Trump mopping up the floor with her. It had to be an election defeat that is so historic that everything now has to be looked at, from wokeism to DEI to these ridiculous news outlets that propagandize their viewers into indoctrination. Now all of a sudden, Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough think that Donald Trump is he was upbeat. He's a good guy. He was laughing and joking, and it was so wonderful. Now, Charlemagne the fraud said, apparently, and I don't have the quote, but he said, well, it looks to me like they were lying to us. He's not a threat to democracy. Otherwise, they wouldn't be making nicey-nicey with him. I think they were lying to us. Do you now, Charlemagne? You think they were lying to you? They were lying to everybody. I'm telling you, man, this was the reason I was laboring so hard to get the popular vote. That's the reason. You see, without this, trust me, they would be calling for to abolish the Electoral College. Without the popular vote, they would be demanding we get rid of the Electoral College because it's racist. The Electoral College is racist. See, I'm telling you, their days of being remotely relevant are over. As people start calling this the podcast president. This was like the shifting of the sand. The tectonic plates shifting dramatically all at once. Why? Well, actually, it all came from, well, the dismal, spectacular failure of Joe Biden and the extra dismal failure of Kamala Harris. I couldn't have picked a better candidate to run against Donald Trump. A man who is keen on getting results to a woman keen on not answering questions. All right, that's it for now. If you like this video, smash that like button and subscribe. And if you're following me on Rumble, please press that follow button. And until the next time, God bless.